Next up, we have another artist, another lady artist called Rachel Sykes, and she'll be joining us now to give us some background about her art and her work. Welcome, Rachel. I think she's just joining us. Bear with us.
Unmute.
There we go, Rachel. Rachel,
Hello
good
there.
afternoon. Welcome.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, I'm really pleased to be through to this round, and I'm a little bit nervous at the moment. But...
Well, don't be nervous. Look, you've done brilliantly. You're down to the last 20 artists. This is fantastic, and your art speaks for itself. But we would love for you to tell us a little bit more about you and the art that you're presenting to us today. Over to you, Rachel.
Thank you. My name's Rachel Sykes. I come from Huddersfield in West Yorkshire. I'm 51 years old. And I've started to develop my art over the last few years. I gave up work about 8 years ago to care for both my parents, and I've developed my artwork alongside that. Now, the first painting I've got on the slides is a painting I did just before lockdown started back in March. I was on a holiday in Scarborough, and I just decided to put together some ideas because of the changing mood. People were becoming anxious with lockdown. Everywhere was closing down, everywhere was very quiet. And I decided to paint a picture of Scarborough with that mood. So it was the calmness with the concerns of what was going to happen next. So that's what really that painting's about. It's a little bit about the calm before the storm, as lockdown was about to start.
Yes.
And I've developed most of my work. There's 6 paintings in the series, and they're all based on the current lockdown. The next one is lockdown shopping. And I did some photographs on some visits to the supermarket, and I developed a painting from that. And basically what I was bringing across there is the way that people were reacting to the new rules and regulations. And I noticed that some people were sticking to the rules and regulations, which are the 2 people in the foreground, where they're wearing masks, they're keeping the distance, they're following the rules, where the person that's coming towards was kind of ignoring all the rules, which a number of people in the supermarket was doing at the time. And he's coming towards them, ignoring the rules, no face mask, his trolley's coming over the line. So that painting's about showing the different ways in the way different people reacted to the rules and regulations at the time. The next painting is called Lockdown Queue. This was painted during the summer, and it was at a time when I was starting to feel frustrated with lockdown. So I'm trying to bring across the feeling of frustration, everybody having to queue outside the shops. So I decided to take some photographs. I do most of my work from taking photographs, observation, and also from doing sketching. So I kind of sat outside the shop, taking photographs, developing the work, and then doing the painting back home.
Oh, they're wonderful. I absolutely love the colours as well. Rachel, that's absolutely fantastic. Right, we'll go to Terry to hear what Terry has to say about Rachel's paintings.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi there.
You have an amazing technique. You are a painter for our times, I think, because what you've managed to portray is that the way we've transferred from the normality to what we're now describing as a new normality. But they are really powerful images that are in many ways just evoking the everyday, but in a really entertaining and engrossing manner. I really liked the first picture when you went to Scarborough. That obviously suggested a mood of of tranquilness, of happiness, of color. I like the way you use the white of the boats and the way that's reflected on this on the waterbed, and then the other vibrant colors around that. But yet, and then when you move into the lockdown images, you're still using some very strong colors, because I'm guessing that it's just reflecting the emotive nature of where we find ourselves at the moment. And they say these representations of where we are now are really strong. They're really what I think helps us to get through this. We see ourselves reflected in these everyday images, but we see them done so in a way that is truthful but colorful, and they're very strong. I really enjoyed all of these pieces, and yeah, they're the sort of things, as I say, we see every day, but you can still stand there, sit there and look and watch and take them in and really feel absorbed by them. So very well done, Rachel. Really good pictures. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry. Emily, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, really, yeah, hi, Rachel, I should say
hi
first.
There. Hi.
Thank you so much for sharing. But yeah, I was just going to go on to say really what Terry had said. The first one with the colour, we all need a bit of colour right now. And actually the fact that you have been looking at the start of lockdown at this point, you've taken a photograph of Scarborough, the lovely fishing boats, the reflection in the water, the colour, the depth in the paintings, really lovely. Is the man standing at the top of the ladder, does he have a mask, or is that just the white shadow?
No, it's just a shadow, is that? Yes. Yeah, it's really just before people were wearing the masks.
Yeah. I mean, we've all got so used to, haven't we, seeing masks now, haven't we? So I just wanted to pick up on that, but it's lovely. It's really joyful, the colour, and I know you said the calm before. It has felt chaotic, but actually it's also reminded us back about the peacefulness of nature. We've embraced things like this. So you probably looked at this photo and thought that would be so wonderful to paint. And then we've got lockdown shopping, and you know, the reminder of looking at the space between people, and like you said, you mentioned the person that has ignored or maybe not thought about it, but again, it's the colour. It's very modern, it's very contemporary. The first one I'd see more on the wall, you know, with lovely colours and interiors around it. As the bottom one, I like the colour, and again the perspective of the street. You know, you've got a very clever way of painting here, because it does look like your photograph and photography, but actually it's got a very modern feel to it. So thank you so much for sharing them with us. Really lovely. You know, lots of well done, Rachel.
Thank you very much, Emily. Geetha, over to you.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi there.
Wonderful work of art, I must say.
Thank you.
I have to echo the other judges as well on all of the details that they have mentioned about the paintings. What was interesting for me is that the first painting of the boat is something that you took a picture of before the lockdown, and when you painted it, it was the lockdown. So it was almost a reflective manner in which you would have done that. So there's, so I love that aspect, because it's almost like, oh, that's what we had and we don't have that now. And the painting itself, it really sets us in a mood of, you know, spring, summer, the light that it brings in that painting, and the use of color, whether they were the actual colors that were there in your photographs, or but the way you had handled those, you know, contrasts and so on. So beautiful. Loved the reflection in the water in that first painting. And about the second one, and both in fact, in all of the three paintings, what I noticed was the your arrangement of the geometrical patterns. Somehow it felt the strong striking feature was the geometrical patterns that was sort of probably, you know, it's a coincidence that it existed, and that, but you had you know, did that so well. For example, in the superstore, there is that aspect of, you know, things packed up in the shelf, you know, there's a certain repetitiveness to that. And yeah, and so things like that, it was very structured. And though it was from a photograph, you highlighted what one needed to see. So you kept it very simplistic, so that the narrative comes across. So I like that aspect of it. About the third one in the Princess Street, whilst you explained that it's the frustration that you could see, and that scene is such a familiar scene today. Just can't, you can't escape that. That's the scene from in any of the streets today. However, you say that it's frustration. What I felt was it was how the society was just getting on with it and coping. And I felt the emotional content of that was perhaps left ambiguous for the spectator to interpret it the way they wanted. I'm sure that's how I felt about it. But I loved all the three works, and hearty congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Geetha. Rachel, over to you. How did that feel, getting that feedback?
I think that was really nice, really great, the feedback. It's given me a lot of confidence, and I feel I have a lot to build on still, because I like to be constantly improving. So, but I just think the feedback's been really great.
Oh, it's been absolutely brilliant. Terry's talked about your amazing technique and powerful images and all of the colours, and fantastically positive comments from both Geetha and Emily too. So I think you should be really proud of the work that you've presented today, and thank you ever so much for coming along, and I wish you all the best and good luck